What is happening, everybody? My name is Beth, and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and that is I'm in a different room, and it's really echoey in here, and it's weird. Different setting for the temporary time being. And just looking at the thumbnail and the title, I'm really late to the party on this film, and I am very upset with myself. Because I think people just aren't really talking about M3GAN anymore, but that is what we are talking about. I finally watched it last night. It finally came out on streaming, and it didn't cost an arm and a leg just to rent it, to watch it. You know, I never got a chance to go to the cinema, which was unfortunate, and as soon as I knew that obviously James Wan's production company was attached to it, that was sort of like, I mean, I'm a big James Wan lover, as you guys know, and as soon as I heard he was getting creatively involved with this one, I 100% was there. Anything James Wan and anything he has his name on, I'm there. So, you know, he also collaborated with Blumhouse, with Jason Blum, who, you know, has done everything horror under the sun. So we do very much like Jason Blum as well. And yeah, you know, I'd seen interviews, I'd seen sort of behind the scenes stuff before I'd actually watched the film, and it's very tech savvy, it's very futuristic, it's a lot of fun. You know, and I heard a lot of people saying from this film that it was more of like a comedy horror, and as soon as I was hearing that, I was like, I was a bit like, I don't know, I wasn't happy about that, because I thought I need a good horror film, and I don't need like a comedy. There were comedy aspects, it was campy in some parts, I think sometimes it was a bit cringe. It was giving like kind of like Evil Dead at times, like with the kind of comedy and the dialogue. But it wasn't as funny, I mean, I didn't find it that funny or like comedic as people were saying it was. But you know, I still think the overall sort of message and theme of technology it was a cool and fun aspect. It was very modern, it was very relevant to today's society, and I think it'll be one of those films where we definitely look back on it in like over the years. It'll be nostalgic, it could become a cult classic, I don't know, who knows at this point. There's already talk about second M3GAN coming out, and I think they're in the writer's room and they're writing another script for it. So, you know, M3GAN did very well, considering it's a doll movie, and I mean, personally, I don't think doll horror films do that well, but yeah, M3GAN did very, very, very well at the box office, and had people raving about it all over social media. Like, it was big, it was so big. I think Alison Williams, who plays Gemma, she's an amazing actress as it is, but I think if we didn't have someone as strong as Alison for this lead role, I think it would have lacked massively. You know, there wasn't a moment in her acting and anything that she cracked, or it just wasn't believable, or she wasn't trying her best. Like, she put 100% into this film, and she made the film what it was. I think she's a great actress, and it was nice to see her in a more sort of sensitive and sort of calm, and not being a crazy evil villain or having a big personality. Like, she was very kept to herself and a quiet, shy character, which I really loved about her, and she played it so well. I think Katie, whatever you want to call her, I think she was alright. I mean, she's a child actor, so like, I think she did have some really strong performances throughout the film. You know, she was very good at becoming very emotional and angry, and you would in that situation when she's lost her parents. However, there were also moments where I was a bit cringed out because of the way that she was performing and the way she was delivering lines. I didn't quite like that. You know, there was just some moments that I was a bit unsure of. I think the M3GAN doll overall, it's cool. It's really cool. It's nothing like I've seen before. I think this film, I think I was satisfied with the film. I didn't hate the film, I was satisfied with it, but I also think that because it was like very toned down, like you could tell, and I know this was a thing, that they massively toned down stuff. And I think a big issue people had is they wanted this to be like rated R, like rated 18. They wanted it to be blood, gore, language, like action like crazy. They wanted to see James Wan like they've seen him in the Saw franchise, and you know, his Insidious films, his Conjuring films, they wanted to see that like pure horror, you know, like Malignant as well. You know, and I get that, and I do agree. I think that with that extra sort, without toning it down, it could have been a really strong, like, gory film for adults, but it also obviously has the themes of like children and family, which I think could have worked. But I also think it worked the way that it was. The fact that it was rated a 15 here in the UK, okay, like I get it. I think it felt like it could have easily dropped down to like a 12A. It definitely didn't seem as crazy, over the top, you know, horrifying as people were saying it, or how it was letting off in the trailer. You know, it was very story based, this film, and what you see in the trailer is only kind of like snippets of like the action sequences. There's a lot of substance to the story, and I can definitely see how James Wan has his input, because he's very story driven when it comes to his horror films. He likes to have a solid, well put together, structured story, and that 100% delivered for sure. Sometimes there was cringy moments. I think M3GAN, I wish M3GAN looked creepier, if I'm quite honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's really creepy, especially towards the end when they kind of fight off M3GAN and she's like officially dead. And then, you know, we end the film with that shot of Gemma and Katie walking out the house, and we have like Gemma's little robot who is like self-automated, and we just see it turn on its own. It definitely leaves you afterwards feeling like, wow, like technology could take over, like this is crazy, this is like, I can't believe that. And 100%, like I think like technology is a very scary element, and there's like so much we still don't understand about it. And the fact that there's people out there kind of like in Gemma's shoes who understand how to program tech and do this and do that, you know, for those of us who don't understand that, it's a very scary thought. And it 100% left me feeling like, God, like my phone's listening to me, like I talk about something and an ad pops up on my phone. You know, it's a film that gets you thinking for sure. And I like that. I like that about it. It leaves that sort of, you know, when you get like a taste in your mouth and just sort of, it stays there for very, like throughout the day. It's like that same thought just stays there throughout the day. Really weird analogy there, but you get what I'm trying to say. It was fun. I think it was, I wasn't really bored. I just kind of wanted to see what was going on next and what was happening. Like I said, it's very story based. Which, I mean, I don't mind. However, I thought that with this kind of film, it would be more shoot, kill, die, like, you know, like, that's it, really. I didn't think it would have had much substance, but it did. You know, I think all the actors did decently well. I think the tech in this was really impressive. So, like props to the, like, production designers and those who wrote the script and like, got all this information in detail about, like, coding things and creating tech that it can be almost human-like and can communicate with us. Like, it was very interesting to see, and I haven't really seen anything like that before, so it was like a breath of fresh air to see something different for sure. You know, I am a bit worried though with the second one that they're coming out with, because it was so popular. I do think this one might be, they might push it a bit, so it's a bit more over the top and a bit more cringy and a bit more campy, which, I mean, fair enough. If they want to do it that way, they could do it that way. But it's just, yeah, it's unfortunate that it wasn't as scary, because I mean, you go on IMDb and it pops up horror film, thriller, whatever. It's not really at all for me. I think this was more of a fantasy film, if you'd like. I didn't hate it. I thought it was an alright film. You know, I think I'm averaging and rating this at like a 5.5 out of 10. You know, M3GAN is still a cool character, quite an iconic character, and she's a bit of a bitch as well, if I say so myself. But you know, we live and we stand for those. You know, people were comparing her to like Chucky and stuff like that, and I was like, nah, mate, nothing compares to Chucky. Nothing compares. Chucky is top tier in my opinion. So, but yeah, it was cool to see a doll movie that wasn't like your cliche doll movie, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I appreciate that aspect for sure. And I thought it was an alright film. You know, I would watch it again, and I would add it to my DVD collection, which is in my other room. But I think I'll definitely be purchasing that DVD in the future. But yeah, thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what you thought of M3GAN. And yeah, what do you think Chucky Annabelle, M3GAN, other dolls. I can't think of any other dolls. Barbie. Do you think any of them compare to M3GAN, and if they're any good? Let me know in the comments. I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know your ratings for the film M3GAN, and I will see you guys on my next video.